Hi, I'm Emily. I'm 14, and I guarantee you've never seen a family as weird as mine. Well, maybe you have, but I still sometimes felt like I'd accidentally been swapped at birth. First of all, my dad was a math genius. I'm not exaggerating. He was the first person to prove some super complicated theorem. Next, my mom was a scientist at the front of technological progress. She constantly got awards and went to conferences. As for my brother Alex, well, he wasn't a scientist, but he was a composer. He could pick any instrument and play it as if he'd been doing it all his life. Recently, he even wrote a rock opera, and it was performed by famous musicians at a huge concert. Can you imagine? Now guess who I was? Right, I was a nobody. Okay, maybe not a nobody, but compared to them, I was an ordinary girl. Everyone in my family strived to be the best. There was even an unspoken competition to see who could achieve the most. Like if mom got an award, dad would immediately come up with a way to beat her, and my brother would throw a concert and then they would all brag to each other.
Emily, what have you achieved lately?
I comforted my friend after her boyfriend dumped her. I also helped the other students calm down and make up when they fight. Everyone calls me Peacemaker. Mom and dad laughed. They thought it was cute, but they didn't take me seriously. I was sitting there thinking, great. Being an ordinary girl in a family of geniuses sure is tough. Then one day, everything changed. My family suddenly became famous overnight. We were discovered by a famous blogger and invited for an interview. Everyone was over the moon. Dad immediately started to rehearse a speech about math. Mom got busy preparing a talk about technology, and Alex tried to choose a perfect outfit.
Emily, you should stay home.
At first, I thought they were joking, but they actually went without me. I watched the interview they gave, and you know what the worst thing was? They didn't mention me once. It was like I didn't even exist. I realized that my family was ashamed of me. That's when I decided enough was enough. I had to show them what I was capable of. First, I decided to follow in Dad's footsteps and found his huge math books in the attic. I'm not coming back down until I prove some hypotenuse. However, an hour later, my head was buzzing from all the formulas, and I fell asleep reading. Math clearly wasn't my thing. The next day, I decided to try being a musician like Alex. I took his guitar and brought it to my room. I won't come out until I've learned how to play. An hour later, my parents started to pound on my door. It turned out they got headaches listening to me play. They walked into my room, snatched the guitar out of my hands, and told me to find a different hobby. I felt like a nobody. Everyone was so brilliant, but I was just Emily. The next day, I was walking down the school hallway and trying to think of a way to become a little bit special. Then I saw the new guy. His name was Liam. I immediately realized that something was wrong. He looked like a guy who carried an invisible backpack full of stones everywhere. After classes, I heard the sound of glass breaking. I came to the classroom and of course saw Liam. He was standing by the window. Glass shards were all over the floor, but he looked like he didn't care at all. What are you doing?
I broke the window.
You should clean this up.
Do it yourself since you care so much.
With those words, he left. I sat down on the floor and gathered the glass shards. At that moment, Mr. Harris, our physics teacher, walked into the classroom.
Emily, did you break the window?
No, it wasn't me. It was Liam. I tried to explain what happened, but Mr. Harris said he would report me to the principal and left. It was always like that. I tried to help and ended up in trouble. I was in for a surprise when I got home. As soon as I walked in, I immediately saw my whole family beaming like they won a lottery. What's going on?
We were invited to the Geniuses Among Us show. Can you believe it? A whole week to prepare. A live broadcast, millions of viewers.
They started to discuss who would say what they would wear, how they would make an impression. I didn't bother asking if they would bring me along or not. I knew they wouldn't. I went to my room and collapsed on my bed. I opened Reels and turned my brain off. What else could I do? But then, bam! I came across a video titled How to Hatch a Chicken Egg and Get a Dragon. At first, I thought it was a silly joke, but the video was edited very convincingly. I watched an ordinary egg undergo a bunch of scientific procedures and hatch a little dragon in the end. This is it. I'll raise a dragon and prove that I'm a genius too. It might sound crazy, but the more I watched that video, the more I believed it was possible. After all, I saw it work. The next day, I was excited as I went to school. I was imagining myself bringing a live dragon to the show, and my parents and brothers standing there with their mouths wide open. I was so lost in thought, I forgot all about the broken window.
Emily, I know you broke the window. Mr. Harris told me everything.
I tried to explain that it was Liam's fault.
Don't try and shift the blame. As punishment, you will take part in the school academic and sports relay race.
Phew! At first, I thought I got off easy, but my joy was snuffled out when I found out my team was the weakest. It consisted of total losers. Of course, Liam was one of them. Great! After school, I came home and took care of the egg first thing. I took an ordinary egg from the refrigerator and followed the instructions from the video. I put it in a small bowl with water, heated it up, placed it under a lamp. I felt like a real scientist. I was so caught up in the process that I didn't even notice that my parents were fighting downstairs. Dad insisted that he should be the star of the show because math was the queen of sciences. Mom reminded him he'd once screwed up at a conference, and my brother tried to claim that he was the only real genius in our family because music touched the souls of millions. The next day at school, I met my team again. To be honest, it was total chaos. Everyone was too different. We kept arguing, and no one listened to anyone. Liam looked like he hated every second of it. Guys, stop! Let's try to get to know each other first. They looked at me like I was crazy, but I didn't give up. We played silly games like tell 3 facts about yourself, and then we held a short competition. At first, everyone was reluctant, but just an hour later, we were all laughing.
Okay, I admit it. I broke that window.
But why?
The teacher gave me a bad grade just because I didn't smile. She said I was too gloomy. I got mad and hit the window.
There was so much pain in his voice that I wanted to give him a hug. That's not fair. I get why you snapped, but now you have a chance to show everyone that you're not gloomy. You can be our team leader. He looked at me like it was the first time he'd heard someone say nice things about him. From that day on, everything changed. We worked hard. I encouraged everyone, cheered them up, reminded them that each of them mattered, and they opened up. I also kept an eye on my egg. It looked more and more mysterious by the day. Sometimes I thought I saw something moving inside it. Just a little more, and I'll have a dragon! I was so busy getting ready for the relay race and taking care of the egg that I hardly noticed how time flew by. But the most surprising thing was that I was spending more and more time with Liam. He wasn't that bad. Behind his prickliness was a guy who was just tired of being misunderstood all the time. Things at home kept getting worse. My parents were constantly arguing. They fought over who should be in charge, both on the show and at home. And then I heard Mom say,
"Should we live separately for a while then?"
My heart sank. I tried to intervene a few times. Mom, Dad, that's enough. You're a family. But they just waved me off.
Not now, Emily. The show is tomorrow.
Soon, the morning came. I woke up to such a stench that I almost fell out of bed. At first, I thought a rat had died in my room, but the smell was coming from my egg.
Emily, what's that horrible smell?
It's an egg. I'm hatching a dragon.
A dragon? Are you serious?
They yelled that they had enough problems without my nonsense. Dad was about to throw my egg away, but I clung to it. No, this is my chance to prove that I'm just as good as you. At some point, the egg slipped out of my hands, hit the floor, and burst. A green, smelly liquid oozed out of it. There was no dragon. I stood in the middle of the room with empty hands and felt like a complete idiot. I came to school feeling like a shadow.
Hey, why are you so gloomy? You're usually so chatty.
I sighed and told him everything about the dragon, the egg, and how it had broken.
Did you really believe that? Emily, it's the internet. Half the videos are fake. Dragons aren't real. You were just tricked.
I wanted to sink through the floor, but the relay race was coming up. However, I had neither the strength nor the desire to participate in it. I even thought about running home.
Hey, come on. We can't do it without you.
Yeah, you inspired us all, and now you want to leave? That's not fair. They looked at me with eyes full of hope, as if I really meant something to them. Okay, let's do this. We headed to the starting line. It was hard at first. We ran, jumped, and solved problems. I tried to cheer everyone up. Come on, you can do it! Don't give up! We're together! We've got this! We passed one round after another. Then we reached the finals. The team we were up against was considered the strongest. Everyone was betting on them. The last task was a physics problem. The formulas were so complicated, it was a real nightmare. We didn't know what to do. I could feel all my hopes crumbling. But then Liam stepped forward. He calmly picked up a marker and wrote the solution in a couple of minutes. He was so fast and confident, my eyes bugged out. The right answer was announced and we won!
It's all thanks to you, Emily. You brought us together. None of this would have happened without you.
Well, actually, Liam brought us victory. He's really cool. When did you get so smart anyway?
Do you want the truth? In my previous school, I was an excellent student and had perfect grades in physics, robotics, and programming. I even built a robot that was really ahead of its time for a contest. But another guy with some ridiculous model won because his rich dad bribed someone. It was so unfair that I snapped, hacked the school server, and deleted all the data. I wanted to show them how rotten the system was. Of course, they kicked me out.
Now it's clear why you seemed angry at the whole world when we met.
I'm over it. What matters is that we won.
I paused and sighed. Guess you're a genius too. But I will forever just be an ordinary girl with no talents.
Do you even hear yourself? You have a calling. You're brilliant at communicating with people. You get how they feel. You can cheer them up when they give up. You know how to bring people together. You even made me smile, which is, by the way, it's almost impossible.
Do you really think so?
Of course I do. Not everyone can be a mathematician or a composer, but being good at talking to people is a rare talent too. Trust me on this.
I thought about it, and I realized he was right. I always thought it was something everyone could do, but there was a reason people called me Peacemaker. That was my gift. Thank you, Liam. Shoot! The show has already started! By the time I ran into the studio, the live broadcast had already started. I saw Mom, Dad, and Alex on set, but instead of inspiring the audience, they were fighting each other live on air.
I am the brain of this family. If it weren't for my technology, you'd be sitting with your formulas in a basement. Stop it. You know everyone only cares about me and my music.
The host looked like he wanted to vanish. The cameras captured every moment of my family's humiliation. I couldn't believe it was really happening. But then the peacemaker in me woke up. That's enough! Everyone turned around. My parents and brother stared at me with their mouths wide open. Are you serious? Millions of people are watching you, but you're acting like kids in a sandbox. Are awards more important to you than family? Mom tried to say something, but I raised my hand to stop her. No, listen to me. I've been watching you my whole life. I saw the three of you compete and try to prove you are the most brilliant. And do you know what I felt? I'd like the odd one out because I don't have your talents. But here's what I realized. All your awards, titles, and prizes are worthless if you don't know how to be close and love and support each other. Quit turning everything into a race. We are a family. There was silence in the studio. I saw Dad's lip tremble. Mom turned away and Alex's eyes looked shiny. You may be the smartest people in the world, but if your family doesn't get along, you're not geniuses. You're failures. And then Mom burst into tears. Dad awkwardly hugged her and Alex came closer and the three of them hugged.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry too. I don't want to compete anymore.
The audience applauded, and then Mom reached out to me. Come here. I stepped forward and the three of them hugged me. The cameras were filming everything and I knew the whole country was watching us. After the show, everything changed. Our home no longer felt like a battlefield. Of course, my parents still argued sometimes, but now, as soon as it got serious, they immediately called me.
Emily, help us figure this out.
You're the best mediator. And you know what? I loved it. I felt needed. But the most amazing thing happened later. Everyone quickly forgot about my parents and my brother. Their interviews and speeches didn't interest anyone. Instead, everyone wrote about me, the girl who saved her family on air. I was invited to various talk shows and interviews. When I came to school, the students burst into applause. And then a famous college sent me a letter. They offered me a scholarship to study psychology. Of course, I didn't forget about Liam, we became friends. He even joked sometimes that I was his personal therapist. But I knew that he appreciated my help and the fact that I didn't judge him. Our team often hung out together, and they kept saying, "Emily, it's all thanks to you." I no longer felt like an ordinary girl with no talents. Sometimes, I wonder why people feel the need to compete at all. You can be the smartest person in the room, but if you don't know how to be kind or understand others, you're not worth anything. My real calling was always there, right in my heart. I knew how to connect people, bring them peace and support them. And you know, that's much cooler than any certificate or award.